Hello, this is Will Allen with Centera Capital. 2 weeks ago, we did our 2024 outlook, and now 2024 is here, so we're going to talk about what is happening today. And what that is, we got an economic update for you. We also want to talk about Bitcoin, with it being in the news recently. Let's get into it. Now, before I get into the market update, just a reminder to please like and subscribe to the videos, share the videos, we appreciate it. Okay, let me tell you so far what the markets have done in 2024. Not very much is the answer. And the fact is, a week and a half of action where the markets have pretty much gone sideways is not a bad thing. We got to remember that 2023 ended with the markets on an absolute tear. It was a fantastic fourth quarter. And while I'm on that, let me just remind you that October 7th, in our blog that you can watch here, if you want to go back and watch that video, we talked about the fact that the fourth quarter had been really strong, going back basically 10 years, and that 9 of the last 10 years, the market had been higher. The average gain in those years, the market was up 7%. Well, now that we have full fourth quarter numbers, the S&P 500 was up over 11%. That is a tremendous return in just 3 months, and much of that happened in December. So it's important when the market has, or any investment goes up significantly in a short time period, a lot of times it has to consolidate those gains, and that can happen in two forms. One is it has a decline in over a week or 2 week period that can be pretty substantial. So the market goes up 11%, maybe it drops 5% or 7% in a week or two. So a sharp decline, that's one way it can consolidate the gains. Oftentimes, though, it is the consolidation is time goes by, maybe it's a month, maybe it's 6 weeks, and the market kind of goes sideways or is up slightly or down slightly. That's another way for it to kind of consolidate those gains. So it is not a bad thing that 10 days into the new year, that the stock market is pretty much sideways. Same for bonds so far. So that's the update kind of on what the markets have done. Now, shifting gears, I want to talk about the economy briefly. And we, in our 2023 look back video that we did a couple weeks back, we talked about the fact that if you went back to the start of 2023, that most economists, in fact over 90% of them, believed that there was going to be a recession in 2023. And that did not happen. But I'm going to put up for you a video or a chart here that shows at the start of 2023, in fact, we go back even before that, what were economists believing the economy would grow at in the year 2023. So let's put that chart up. What you'll notice here is this goes back to early 2022, and you can see that at that time, economists, the consensus was about a 2.5% growth rate for the U.S. economy. That goes straight down in the year 2022. We remember the financial markets were declining a lot during that time. And then you can see last year in January, the low point, growth just above 0%. Then we get into 2023, the year goes along, that growth rate that was expected, growth was coming in a lot higher than was expected, and you can see economists increased that. So by the end of 2023, economists were saying, look, the growth rate is 2.4% because that's about where the economy is going to end up. So that's kind of a look back. Now, these same economists are back forecasting for 2024. And as one of my clients said to me, these folks are so wrong. Why do we keep asking these people what they think the economy is going to do? And that was well said. But the fact is, now that we're in 2024, let's kind of take a look at what economists are thinking now. By the way, you'll see on this, and this goes back to 2022 when you ask them, what do you think is going to happen in 2024? That's 2 years ahead at the time. We know that they're not probably going to be very accurate there, but they were expecting a growth rate of around 2% for the economy. That declines throughout 2022 and throughout a lot of 2023, which was telling these economists were not believers that this economic growth was sustainable. But notice, since about July of last year, that these economists have been increasing their anticipated growth rate for the U.S. economy, and it's up to about 1.3% as of right now for this year. Again, you cannot take this and take this as the gospel, because they could be very wrong here. We could have growth of 2.5%. We could have growth rates that are negative, up just a little bit. There's just no way to tell at this state. Now, that being said, our current expectations over the next 3 to 6 months, because for us, projecting farther out than that is very difficult to do. We still expect that the economy can be good. The consumer is still doing very well. Corporate America is doing well. So in fact, today, by the way, we had new jobs data that was, again, very, very strong. Initial claims for unemployment insurance is very, very low. So we're very happy to see that. But again, we're not going to get into that so much right now. We just wanted to highlight for you, this is what economists are thinking right now for 2024. The next topic we want to dive into today is Bitcoin. And look, we have addressed this a couple times over the years because this is one of these asset classes, and that's what it's considered at this point, as an asset class, not a currency. But it's one of those things that has an opinion, a wide array of opinions here. There are people who are fanatics about Bitcoin. They are all in on Bitcoin and have been for a long time. There's people who believe it is absolutely worthless. Warren Buffett is in that camp. But we've said, look, that this is an instrument that trades, and it really only boils down to consumer sentiment or investor sentiment. That's what determines the price. It has had its share of mania periods of time where it's in a mania. It's had this periods where everybody hates it and the price is plummeting and everything in between. Going back over the last 10 years, it has had 3 different occasions where it's dropped over 75%. It's also had periods of times where it's gone up 200, 300% in a short period of time. What we can say is that what is interesting now is that the SEC finally this week approved a Bitcoin ETF. So this is a fund that actually owns Bitcoin, so it goes up and down and tracks the price of Bitcoin. I think there are 11 different companies. Fidelity is one of them, Van Eck, ARK Invest, Invesco, a lot of different companies who are coming out with these ETFs, hoping for a piece of the market. Now, Gary Gensler, the head of the SEC, did not want to approve this Bitcoin ETF, but due to a court case that went against them, basically was in a position where he had to approve it. He approved it at the close of business on Wednesday, but we're going to read to you a piece of his statement because you'll get an idea of kind of, even though he's approving it, of what he thinks. And his quote was, "Bitcoin is primarily a speculative, volatile asset that's also used for illicit activity, including ransomware, money laundering, sanction evasion, and terrorist financing." Tell us how you really feel, Gary. I mean, come on, man. He is not a fan. The fact is, the way that we approach this is that we say, look, if someone, a client, wants to own a small percentage of their portfolio in Bitcoin as kind of mad money, kind of a lottery ticket, that is totally fine if you want to do that. Very few of our clients are doing that, but if you want to, that's okay. In our opinion, we're saying the same thing that we've been saying for years, which is, years from now, Bitcoin could be at $200,000 a Bitcoin. It could be at $1,000 a Bitcoin. And by the way, today, if you don't know, it's around $46,000, just to give you kind of a frame of reference. It hit at its peak around 68,000 in late 2021. It fell as low as 15,000 here in 2022. So it's a volatile asset, and it again goes a lot to what kind of sentiment is there that drives the price action. But we wanted you to hear our thoughts again on this because it is noteworthy that Gary Gensler, kicking and screaming, finally approved a Bitcoin ETF. Well, that wraps it up for today. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have suggestions for topics you'd like us to talk about in future videos, don't hesitate to comment in the comment section below or shoot us an email. We like to hear feedback from you on what we're talking about. Have a good day, and here's to a great 2024. Thanks again for watching our videos, and let me tell you, if you are new to Centera Capital or you have just started watching some of our videos, don't forget to go to centeracapital.com. You can go to the contact page, reach out to us. Michael, myself, our team will reach out to you. And the fact is that a lot of folks out there, they don't hear from their advisor. We hear that time and time again from new clients of ours that, hey, we just didn't hear from our advisor, or our advisor didn't do videos, they didn't do blog posts and keep us up to date on what's happening in the market. If that's you, don't hesitate to give us a call. We'd love to talk to you. We basically have a 4-meeting initial series to find out, are we good fits? Because we have to make sure for you that we're a good match, and then for us that we feel like you would be a good client and fit well for what we do. Thanks again. Take care.